Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs. Today's tutorial is going to be a little bit different, and it's going to focus on something that I've kind of got as a work in progress right now. It's not quite a complete mechanism, and it's something that I want to develop over the course of several videos. So this is consider this a prototype video, and bear with me while I explain what I'm doing here. Basically, this is kind of like an armor stand assembly line. It's basically an assembly line that automates the equipping of armor onto armor stands and deposits them in a kind of finished location. All you have to do is drop an armor stand in and the machine does the rest. So we're going to do that right now. Going to pop an armor stand in there. The machine's going to activate. It fires up. All of the armor gets equipped at once, and then the machine deposits it on this kind of conveyor belt we've got here with a water course, ending in this location here, and it's not going to do anything once it's there, but I have plans for that in future. And the fun thing about this is it also works with players too. If I drop myself in here, I go through the machine in exactly the same way as the armor stand, seeing as armor stands kind of mimic player movement. All of the armor gets equipped, and I get pushed up here as well. So in a way, it's kind of like a personal auto-equipper, but in this case, I want it to be something that you can put inside your base and it will just be working in the background. There are a couple of obstacles to this, but I think with a little bit of ingenuity and experimentation, we can overcome them. So, I will show you a little bit about how this machine works. The first noteworthy thing is that this machine takes advantage of an interesting redstone mechanic called a string bud switch. You'll be familiar with bud switches from some of my other videos and other videos you've seen online, but this uses string to detect when something passes through a certain area and activates the switch. Now, this can be any entity pretty much, so if you throw an item down there, it's going to activate. It will activate twice, once when the item enters the string's hitbox, and once when the item leaves the string's hitbox. And the same goes for armor stands, the same goes for players. Twice, it will activate every time. Now, the thing to counter this, because we don't want this to happen all of the time, is to create another piston switch over here, which is going to basically turn this kind of into an automatic T flip-flop. So now, when you throw this down here, it's going to activate with a redstone signal once each time, and it's going to activate whatever redstone we place down here, which is going to power the rest of the circuit. So that's basically turned this into an on-off switch instead of something that activates twice. So for the main workings of this machine, you will need 4 dispensers, 14 redstone repeaters. Yes, 14. There's quite a few of them in this. It needs a lot of delay. A bunch of redstone. Just grab yourself a handful, redstone is plentiful enough. 3 sticky pistons and a piece of string to do the string bud and a couple of other things. 2 blocks of redstone and 3 slime blocks. A bunch of non-movable blocks, obsidian in this case, but you can use melons, jack-o'-lanterns, whatever you fancy for that. A couple of water buckets. I'm just going to grab a couple of those now because you'll need those for the water channel that directs the armor stand along, and I'm going to use some light grey stained glass just so you can have a nice see-through representation of where the armor stand's going to go. You'll also need, of course, an armor stand, a bunch of armor. I'm guessing you're going to get this from some kind of mob spawner, like a zombie or a skeleton spawner. If you're making something like this, you probably have one of those set up in your world somewhere. You'll also need a few chests and hoppers if you want the dispensers to be automatically refilled. So you're going to want to dig a water channel 8 blocks long. That's the maximum length water will travel, and then set up the string bud on block number 2 like I did in the start of this video. Now you're going to be placing a redstone dust there, and that's what's going to be activated each time this updates. So if we throw an item in there, you'll see it activates very briefly like that. It's going to be slightly longer when the armor stand passes through the string, and then this is going to be attached to a timer which will fire dispensers when the armor stand passes through. So we're going to be putting 1, 2, 3, 4 repeaters along there, 2 redstone dusts to turn it around, and then 1, 2 on the way back. 2 more redstone dust like that, a single redstone repeater here, and this is going to lead into all 4 of the dispensers, which are going to be placed facing inwards on the water channel like so. Facing inwards, I said. There we go. Going to pop that one on there, and then you want to put redstone on top of all of these, and then have a single building block in the middle. Doesn't have to be a non-movable block, but I've just got the obsidian handy, and that's going to channel the redstone over the top of the water, and the armor stand can pass underneath. Now we need to set up the timer on each of these repeaters, and they're all going to be set to 4 ticks, which is the maximum a repeater can go to, apart from this one, which is going to be set to 3, and that will ensure that when the armor stand passes through, the dispensers will all fire at exactly the right time for the armor stands to equip all of the armor in one go. There's just an ever so slight kind of overlap between the hitbox that you can attach armor to something, whether it's a player or an armor stand, and that will allow us to get the armor onto the armor stand all at once. So I'll show you that real quick. If you drop an armor stand in here, watch what the timer does. Tick right as it passes the join between those two dispensers. Now, 2 blocks along from the dispensers, right at the end of the watercourse, you're going to be building a slime block launcher, which will launch the armor stand up into another watercourse that will carry it to its destination. In this case, I'm building this in a super flat world, so I'm going to have to break through the bedrock at the bottom of the world to do this, but that's not a problem. If we're going to put a slime block there, then we will need to make sure it is surrounded on all sides by non-movable blocks. In this case, we're using obsidian, and we'll build those up too high to make sure that it's not colliding with anything else. We'll need to add another one there. So the maximum of the non-movable blocks you'll need in this case is probably only about 7 or 8. Now that's in place, we're going to set up the redstone timer that's going to activate the slime block once the water has pushed the armor stand into that location, and that is going to take a little bit of setting up because armor stands travel quite slowly in water. So we need 1 repeater going that way and then into another redstone dust there, and we're going to be building 2 redstone repeaters like that, 1, 2, turn it around with redstone dust and have 1, 2, 3 going back in this direction. The next thing to do is carve out a little channel down here that the redstone current can flow into like that, and then that's going to go into a repeater facing into the slime block at the bottom there, and that's what's going to activate the piston. Now we need to set this to a delay of at least 2 to make sure it's got the time, and set each of these to 4 ticks. So everything on the surface pretty much is going to need a 4-tick delay. Now if we put an armor stand through the machine, you'll notice it travels through here, dispensers will fire at the correct time, and then once it reaches here it will be pushed up by the slime block and can continue its journey on a watercourse that we're going to set up over here. Now your watercourse can be set up pretty much anywhere up to 7 blocks higher than your slime block. So if we pop the armor stand in like this, watch it go along here, it'll go through the machine, dispensers will fire, slime block will activate, and this will propel the armor stand further along the watercourse like that. All you need is a sign to hold up a water block and then a few surrounding blocks to make sure the water doesn't get taken off course, and then you can divert the water pretty much anywhere you want to, so the armor stand will end up at your desired location. So the last thing you want to do is attach hoppers to the side of each dispenser and add a chest on top full of the armor you want the dispenser to refill with. Now every time you put an armor stand through the machine, it's going to automatically refill the dispenser, allowing you to put through pretty much as many armor stands as you want to. So let's run one through the machine now and see how it does. All the armor gets added at the correct time. Slime block launches it into the water channel and it ends up at our destination. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this has given you a little bit of inspiration or given you a few redstone ideas. We're going to be seeing this concept reworked a couple of times. I'm going to see if I can do anything to compact it and make it kind of more user-friendly, or just make it a little bit more flashy in the end. So thank you for watching. My name has been Pixlriffs. Please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now. Now we're going to put a chest down there with a hopper leading into it, and as you'll probably know, if you place a non-solid block, such as a slab, on top of the hopper, you can actually throw objects in and it will get picked up by the chest, like so. If you do this with a daylight sensor, however, the results are a little bit different. You'll notice